Of course, they originally said, that it came from bats, but, it's like, do you trust the Chinese government? Which scientists do you trust? A big problem that we're going to talk about today, too. What's up, AK? What up, Dan? A big problem is people don't trust the media. People don't trust the World Health Organization. People don't trust Big Pharma. And my thing is this. I think to politicians, to the media, to Big Pharma, to the World Health Organization, you can't keep getting mad at people. You can't keep sending Neil deGrasse Tyson all over the place to call people anti-vaxxers and, climate deniers and science deniers. You have to gain the people's trust. Recently, Fox News just hit their biggest rating in like 20 years. Meanwhile, MSNBC and CNN are just declining. There's a reason it's happening. So you can't call people anti-science. People don't trust Big Pharma for a reason. People don't trust the World Health Organization for a reason. People don't trust Communist China for a reason. People don't trust American trusted scientists for a reason because they've been politicized and lied about so much. And there's like this conversation of a closed door. You can't even debate with us. So if you really want to stop the holistic movement and all these movements they claim to want to stop, you got to just gain people's trust. You can't just strong arm your way past everybody unless you want to become a a communist government where you say, if you disagree with me, you're silenced. But I don't think that's what America's about. So that's my message to these health organizations and stuff. How do we know what to trust? We trust the Chinese. We trust the media. We'll talk about it. All right. So I'm going to start with the overhype. I think it's what they're not saying is, or some people are saying, most are not, is that most people who get it don't die. It's mostly elderly people. It's mostly, people with health problems. I think, you could look at the death toll in China, but you could compare it to, the flu death toll. You could compare it to the air pollution death toll. Air pollution kills millions of people in China every year. But here's the thing. You got the two sides saying that. It also is disrupting a lot of business and stuff. It's a little bit more deadly than the flu is over a span. So if it gets as widespread as the flu, it is going to kill more people. It's shutting down travel, shutting down business. You could look at the third quarter reports of China. I think Mike Cernovich is doing a really good job on Twitter, kind of talking about this stuff. The supply chain and the global market of how trade and travel. It's all dependent on how much we can buy and sell and ship and fly. And that's being massively disrupted due to how they're choosing to deal with this problem. So it isn't just a no threat where people are like, it's overhyped, nothing's going to happen, it's totally fine, it's no big deal, it's like the flu. It's not, in my opinion. And especially how they're treating it. And the way they're treating it is they're trying to act like it's this massive, bioweapon that they need to stop, where maybe they just don't want it to spread. Maybe they're trying to get ahead of it before it gets all over the place, but, it can really disrupt. And things I've been thinking about, because I've been sitting on it for weeks. At first, I had my initial reaction video about it, but there's a lot of creepy things about it. Say it comes to New York City, and it starts spreading in New York City like it's spreading in Italy now, like it's spread in China. It probably won't, but say it does. How do we respond to that? The government's not going to treat it like the flu. You could say the flu kills more people, but the government doesn't go around quarantining people, doing all this crazy stuff for the flu. People just get the flu. They try to give you the vaccine. You could opt out of it. But if coronavirus comes, what's the right decision? Here's my thing. Say you're in a room, or you're on a cruise boat, or you're on an airplane where someone happens to have coronavirus. If you're not on the plane, you're going to say, everybody quarantine that plane. Everybody, everyone on that plane, stay there, go to the hospital, don't come to the city. But if you're on that plane and you're one of the people who doesn't have the coronavirus, do you want the U.S. federal government to be quarantining you? I would want to leave immediately. I'd be like, listen, I don't got coronavirus, my immune system's good, let me go home. But they won't let you go home. So this is the aspect of it that I think people aren't talking about, where they're like, no, it's good, China's doing all this stuff. I'm like, dude, look at the videos. They're spraying entire cities. They're stopping people from going places. This is some real next level stuff. And you got to ask your question, if it is not, if it's as harmless as the flu, why are they doing all this stuff? Should they be allowed to do this stuff? What's our legal rule? Is the government allowed to keep me on an airplane or in a building if I'm around somebody else with a disease? Because that's the last place I'm going to want to be. So these are the thoughts going through my head, because they've kind of got people like, yeah, quarantine, stay there. But if I'm there, I want to just get away as soon as possible. I don't want to be stuck somewhere, not able to travel or leave a hospital. That's my worst nightmare. One thing I have noticed is the big pharma, big science, big, people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, they're already out talking about, of course, the vaccine. The virus has only been known in America, pop culture for 2 weeks now, but he said, I wonder what anti-vaxxers are going to think about the coronavirus vaccine. Like, he's already mocking anti-vaxxers for not wanting a coronavirus vaccine, but it's like, first of all, how, like the flu vaccine, it's an option. I don't get the flu vaccine. I'm not into the flu vaccine. Some people get the flu vaccine. I like to have choice. And this is where they're kind of why people don't trust Big Pharma, why people don't trust liberals now, to be honest, and like places like California and New York City, because they're trying to make everything more and more mandatory. As they're saying, free education, free healthcare, we're going to save you. They're also not telling you what they're doing is medical tyranny. You used to be able to opt out of vaccines for your kids. Now there's 2, now there's 5, now there's 10. Now you're called an anti-vaxxer if you don't get them. Now they might not let you go to public school or public areas. They're passing legislation to basically bar you from public society if you don't get a vaccine, deeming you unsafe. So this is the big push that's actually coming from the left wing. Even if you are liberal, you're a holistic person, you like Bernie Sanders, you have to understand the places where medical tyranny is steamrolling in America is places like California, New York, because they're left-leaning, and for some reason that goes hand in hand with big government and, bigger government claw over big medicine. So these are things to think about, because as coronavirus comes, I already see it now. Get the vaccine, you're an anti-vaxxer. If you don't inject it, it's like, dude, where did this even come from? These are questions that have been going around my mind. Did it come from bat soup? Did it come from a biolab? And I have to be very careful when I talk, because Facebook and YouTube and all of the mainstream media, they now are Big Brother. They're now every Orwellian nightmare movie we've ever talked about, where if you wrong think, or whatever it was called in 1984, the wrong think, if you think the wrong way, which is really the right way to be honest, and you question them, if you question Big Pharma, if you question vaccines, they always talk about history. They call you a history denier if you talk about World War II in a different way. But I remember in World War II, according to your own stories, Bayer, who now owns, I believe, Monsanto, they have a merger with the seed companies, the food companies, and now they have a lot of big pharma. They, were involved with, killing people at concentration camps. According to your stories, what about the pill company that purposely sold HIV positive pills to other countries to make a profit? So, it doesn't add up. It's like you can't question, you're not allowed to question history, or else you're, a history denier. You're not allowed to question Big Pharma, or you're a science denier, but the history of Big Pharma is factually there, saying that they've done terrible things. But they couldn't possibly do another terrible thing. So you get what I'm saying? This all goes hand in hand. There's a big tyranny takeover of this country and the world, and they're doing it via things that people care about: medicine, food, climate change, environmentalism. I'm an environmentalist. Clean the air, clean the water, clean the ocean, stop polluting, clean up, all the plastic up, and use better sustainable stuff. But they're using environmentalism through the climate change agenda to basically push in tyranny and take control and lie and make up science that's debatable, that they say you can't debate. So you really got to be careful with this coronavirus stuff, because is it a harmless flu? I would say it's probably worse than the flu. But is it going to kill everyone? No, of course not. Most people are not going to die. It's going to be bad for elderly people. Just like if you get pneumonia when you're 16 years old, you're probably going to be fine. If you get pneumonia when you're 90, it might kill you. And same with the flu. So it's not that it's out of the order. It's that, where did it come from? And then they'd say to me, Anomaly, we got to shut your channel down because you suggested it might have been created in a biolab. Google, lab-created viruses legal, America, New York Times, Wall Street Journal. I'm the crazy one for saying this, but it's in your newspapers, the little PSYOP newspapers you guys write, that says it's legal now to create bioweapons in labs. We're going to study the Frankenstein virus. We'll make our own virus so we can study the virus. Oops, we let the virus out, and now everybody has the virus. It's in your newspapers. It's not a conspiracy theory that that you could create a virus in a lab. That's a fact, and it's actually legal. They overturned an old rule that said you couldn't do that. So did it come from a lab? Did it come from a bat? I don't think it came from a bat. Personally, I think it came from a lab. I think they created it. But is that a wrong thing? Do I have to get my video and channel deleted now because I'm speculating on clear history and science and data that's available for everybody in mainstream organizations. Am I an anti-vaxxer now if I don't want to get a coronavirus vaccine before I even figure out where coronavirus came from, how deadly it is, how contagious it is, what's really going on? So these are the questions you got to ask yourself. So overall, is it going to kill everybody? No, they're definitely fear-mongering for it, but they're also, here's the flip side, is to me, it's not like a harmless little virus. They're shutting down business, they're shutting down travel, they're basically conditioning people to think it's okay to quarantine entire cities. I mean, everyone talked about martial law for 10 years. Anomaly, Obama's going to do martial law. No, he's not, he never did. Trump's going to do martial law. Bush, they never did martial law, but what is quarantining? I've never been one of those people where I'm like, they could do it, but I don't think police officers would do it. I don't think the military would do it. So I've always said the martial law theory, in my opinion, is not going to happen because I don't think police officers would turn against us. I don't think military members would turn against us. So I've never been worried about martial law. But now with the coronavirus, how do you convince police officers and medical people to, basically martial law their own people? Well, that's what a quarantine sounds like to me, doesn't it? You know what I'm saying? So, I'm very suspect about it. If it is as harmless as the flu, or it's a little bit worse than the flu, then why are we going to shut down whole cities? And then what if you're in the city and you want to leave and they don't let you leave, and you have the rest of the country saying, no, stay there, don't leave, let the government do that? I want to get away as soon as possible. So let me see your thoughts. I'm going to read some of the comments because I've been sitting on this for a few weeks, and for a week or two, I was like, I'm not worried about it. I don't fear. I'm not a worrisome person. But I'm not going to lie. I am going to go to the supermarket, buy a bunch of beans, buy a bunch of water. I already have water. But, I'm going to buy a lot of stuff. So if there becomes a moment for a few weeks or a month where they say, don't leave the house, don't do this, don't do that, that's very possible that they do that. Are they overhyping that? Is it a lie? I can't tell you if it's a real procedure that makes sense or they're overdoing it to manipulate people. But I'm going to be prepared. I don't think it's one of those things to say, oh, there's nothing wrong with going to the store, buying $20 worth of beans or $30 worth of beans and rice. And someone said, watch the Netflix show Quarantine. I don't even want to watch it, no offense, but they do these things as well. In Netflix, on TV, they show you what they're doing. Like, they do it in music videos. And then I'll say, did you know that the U.S. government did this? And some girl will say, oh, yeah, that's like a movie I saw with Tom Cruise. And she's like, do you think they could have really done that? I'm like, that's what the movie's about. It's all mental programming conditioning. Quarantine, Chernobyl. Why do you think they put out Chernobyl? You get what I'm saying? The big, scary nuclear energy thing about the Russian energy. One, blame Russia, which they've been doing in the news. Two, blame nuclear energy, because nuclear energy is actually one of the cleanest and safest energies. So they're trying to, blacklist it for their climate change agenda. In my opinion, look who made the Chernobyl documentary. Google who made the Chernobyl documentary. You'll find out one of the producers or directors on it was Ted Cruz's roommate, who's a super liberal who hates him. The other one was this super left-wing Jewish girl who was involved in the LA Council to give Iran the Iran deal. So you get what I'm saying? People think I'm crazy for not watching Netflix and stuff. Like, oh no, just have fun. And I'm like, no, this movie is created by people who facilitated the Iran deal and super uber liberal operatives. So they put out these movies and everyone says, oh my God, Russia's terrible. Nuclear energy is so scary. No, it's not. They want you to think that so they can push their energy. So if they have a quarantine Netflix, someone said buy a mask to be prepared. Y'all, where's my mask? I've been had a mask for a year now. It's over there. I've had a mask. Hold on. I'm gonna get my mask just to show you how not playing around I am. Where's my? Hold on. Anyway, I don't know where it is, but I've had a mask for air pollution. I've been on this, so it's not that you need a mask to freak out and cry, but I don't breathe in the air when it's when the air quality's 135 out there. Everyone's like, I'm like, listen, I got my mask on. One, breathe clean air. Two, people see me out. Why do you have a mask on? Because our air sucks. I'm spreading awareness. So someone said hyped up to hopefully tank the economy. That's another thing. There's a lot of elements to it. And these are questions. This is why free speech is so important. This is why I call out the right wing and Ben Shapiro and Dennis Prager. And everyone gets mad at me. Anomaly, what? I love them. I love them too. Not really, but I do love them. I say it because if we don't have free speech, this type of stuff goes hand in hand. When the left wing shuts down free speech at Berkeley, they need to be called out because the left wing used to be the champions of free speech. And how could we have conversations and question things if we don't have free speech? The left wing shutting down free speech, Google shutting down free speech. You can't talk about climate change. You can't talk about vaccines. You can't talk about medicine. Then the right wing, you can't talk about Israel. You can't say this. You can't say that. That's why I question everyone. I'm not trying to be mean or hateful or pick on people. I'm just saying I see the agenda going on around us. They want to take away speech and get people normalized into thinking it's cool. Left wing, oh yeah, no, that's hate speech. These are bad people. We got to take away their speech. Right wing, oh no, that's hate speech. That's a bad protest. We got to take that away. Medicine people, oh no, these are climate deniers and science deniers. It's bad for the medicine. No, free speech is good. You can prove me with a scientific discovery. So you get what I'm saying? They're trying to make it illegal and blacklist you from questioning certain things in society. And the reason is not to help you or help that person or help this group or help this religion. The reason is because powerful people don't like to be questioned in, dictator, communist, fascist type societies. And that's what's going on. The same people who own the medicine are the same people who control the banks, are the same people who are friends with the billionaires, are the same people who buy out the politicians, are the same people that are involved in the climate change agenda. Jeff Bezos, $10 billion goes to climate change. Where's it going? NGOs, organizations. It's not going to planting trees. Bro, if there's too much carbon, plant 1 trillion trees and there's going to be no more climate change. He's not trying to solve the environmental crisis of the world. It's all about power and control. So any anti-free speech stuff, whether it comes from the left or the right, medical tyranny especially, which a lot of left-wing people are holistic, but the irony of that is it's left-wing politicians and left-wing progressives and neoliberals who are stealing the medical freedom. You get what I'm saying? So people got to wake up to this stuff. If the right wing's lying about stuff, I'll say it. If the left wing's doing it, I'll say it. It just so happens that the left wing is like steamrolling. They're terrible at free speech now. They're terrible with medical freedom. They're all run by like little propaganda puppets like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye, Neil deGrasse Tyson, the astrophysicist, he talks about space all the time. Now he goes around to television shows and podcasts and tells people to get as many vaccines as possible and get the coronavirus vaccine that doesn't even exist yet. If you're the space expert, what do you know about vaccines? Bill Nye, the TV actor guy who once said there were 2 genders and now he says there's 7,000 genders because it's politically convenient. He's not a scientist. He's a political operative. Just like Neil deGrasse Tyson is not a medicine practicer, he's an astrophysicist. So, if he talks about Pluto, it's worth listening to. If he calls you a science denier because you're questioning climate change and you're talking about the literal, factual, scientific evidence behind, medicine, I'll give you an example, and then I'm going to start answering questions. And this is for Facebook too. If I have any Facebook AI robots or, people who work for Facebook monitoring this, wondering if they should take this video down, there's a commercial that says, blah, 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 this is our medicine, take our medicine. And in the thing, it says, if you've taken a vaccine recently, don't use this medication. Why wouldn't you use that medication if you've taken a vaccine recently? Because vaccines have side effects. Vaccines have, different medicines that it doesn't cross with. So when you pump people with this stuff and you say, you're a science denier, an anti-vaxxer suggesting that you could get damage from this, you're lying, you're hurting people. Every medicine on the market, side effect is bleeding bladder, blah, 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 blah. They read them off 1,000 times because they don't want you to know how terrible the pill is. It's the same with any medicine. Of course, if you inject it into your arm, it's the same thing. There's side effects. There's different things it doesn't mix with. There's different immune systems and bodily, people's organs and the way that their body functions that don't mesh well with it. It might have an adverse reaction. I heard yesterday somebody who took the tetanus, shot before it was a tetanus vaccine and had a crazy muscle reaction to it. This is science. This is settled, proven science that medicines have a side, but they just try to close down and say, don't question coronavirus. Yes, there's a fear-mongering agenda. Yes, they're overhyping it, but at the same time, they're underhyping it. Not so much of the deadliness of the disease or the spread of the disease, but in quarantining, in mandatory vaccines, the medical tyranny. In my opinion, this looks like a multi-pronged attack of some sort. But, who knows? I'm open if I could be proven wrong with scientists and data. But right now we have the communist Chinese government lying about it, covering it up. Liberal media trying to overhype it. Donald Trump saying the economy's just fine, don't believe anything. So I'm just giving the middle perspective of I see both sides. There is a threat. It's not a threat. be safe. But I see this as just another thing to a problem solution sort of thing. If you got the solution, here's the problem. How do you get things to accomplish certain things? That's how I'm feeling. Someone said, Anomaly, take a breath, bruh. I don't breathe. I don't, That's why people get it twisted. I posted a rap video, me rapping fast to an Eminem beat, and people, here's the thing too, and then I'm going to answer questions. People think I care that they don't like my music. I'm not one of these people like, oh my God, you don't like my music? Oh no, I want everyone to love my music as much as my news politics. I don't care. I think it's funny. But there's a difference between saying, Anomaly, I don't like your music. Anomaly, I don't like this song. Anomaly, I don't like these degenerate lyrics. All fine in my opinion. But then saying, Anomaly, stop rapping. Anomaly, breathe. I'll breathe when I want to breathe. I'm joking about you, brother. But, it's like, Anomaly, stop doing... Oh, yeah, I'm just going to stop on a whim now because Charlie from freaking Tennessee told me to stop rapping from his computer at 9:30 in the morning. Sorry, I'm not going to stop rapping. I make news videos. I rap. I do shows. I get millions of streams. I don't care if you do or don't like it. That's not... But if you tell me to stop doing it, Anomaly, don't make videos like this. Now I'm going to make 5 videos like this. I'm going to drop a whole album. I'm going to make a gospel album about the coronavirus. It's going to be a 5-part album featuring Josh Groban. I'm going to put Kenny Chesney on it, Toby Keith, so you guys don't get pissed at me. And then we'll put, CeeLo Green on it. And, we might even throw, I'm even put Dennis Prager on the hook, just so people stop getting upset with me. I don't know. These are things I think about. So it's like, breathe, do this. I don't breathe. I'm doing 20,000 things at once. I'm hiking a mountain while making a new video, while making a rap album. I don't have to, I'll breathe later. You know what I'm saying? As I'm doing an underwater breath competition, I'm doing all these things and I'm underwater at a local pool, a community pool, trying to hold my breath to beat all the kids to prove that I have the best lungs. You get what I'm saying? That's the level I'm on. So people are like, I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you don't agree with it, but Anomaly, stop rapping. Okay, yeah, I get props from Jam Master Jay's family. They know all my lyrics, but you want me to stop. Let me just throw my whole life in. I got a paid basically stay and flight in California for a year when I was 23 off of rap music, paid for my whole life, changed my whole life, saved me from, being poor. But yeah, I'll just stop now for you. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Because people are like, oh, you're so sensitive. No, I think it's funny. People comment, I comment back. I like the back and forth. I think it's hilarious. I'm not crying about it, but I'm like, you said this, I say this. All right, let's read some stuff. Someone said, what happened to Zika? That was before last election year. Yeah, this is already more widespread than Zika, though. Which doesn't mean it's any more of a trap or a psyop, but they're like, Zika didn't work? Here, we'll make this work. Asif said, I love your passion. Thank you, brother or sister, probably brother. I have a case of corona. I'm prepared for the outbreak. That's what I'm saying. Listen, I'm not trying to stereotype, but everybody knows it's true. Hispanics have been ready for the coronavirus since 1994. Pull up to any quinceañera. You'll see more cases of corona than presents. You'll see, they got 20 presents for their girl. They got 100 cases of corona, and they'll go through them all in a night. That's not stereotyping. That's just facts. In the Hispanic community, they've been ready for the coronavirus. And they're ready for the Modelo virus. So, those two, they've built up resistance over the course of, over the last 40, 30 years. Someone said Lysol disinfectant spray helps with the coronavirus. It says in the back of the spray can. That's creepy. They've been plotting this stuff. And I'm not saying in a conspiracy way. The Facebook monitors like, oh my God, Anomaly said they've been plotting. They've not been plotting. Trust me, I know. I have a liberal arts degree and I work for Facebook. Damn it, we got to shut this. Relax. They have been plotting. Bill Gates and his foundation, they've talked about coronavirus for years. There's a patent on Justia.com 4 years ago for coronavirus. So that's what I'm trying to say. They're like, oh my goodness, Anomaly said Neil deGrasse Tyson's a puppet. You know what? I went to Berkeley for 8 years for this. I didn't get my GHD degree to sit and listen to these right-wingers on Facebook have free speech, damn it. How dare them question what I'm doing? I'm the smartest person. It's like, dude, put the freaking laptop down and go for a break. Stop trying to shut the damn channel down. Canada is watching because I share your stuff. Keep it up, man. Thank you. Shout out Justin Trudeau. You're trash. You're trash, Justin. I can't believe he won the election. So it said, follow the money. I believe more people have died from the flu. Yeah, it's not about more people have died from the flu, but if the coronavirus is as widespread as the flu, probably more people are going to die from coronavirus, but also it's shutting down travel. It's shutting down business. It's quarantining. There's other things that go along with it. Yes, it's about money. Of course, they have the cure. Google coronavirus vaccine. Look who's creating it. I don't want to say it because then I'll get called a name, you know? I had lunch with my buddy the other day and he's like, nah, I don't even want to get into it. You know, people will just like make up crap about me. I just say, look, I heard Anomaly's this. I heard Anomaly's there. I heard Anomaly's this. Why? Because someone said it because they can't comprehend what I'm saying? Ridiculous. People always feel the need to bring someone down. Always try to get fooled. You can't bring me down. That's the thing. Like, as far as like my esteem, I'm not filled with ego. I have no ego, but I do have a high self-esteem. I'm my own manager. I don't do it to be mean and rude and egotistical. Like, I facilitate everything I do. So if someone tries to come up like, Anomaly, you're not going to make it. I'm not just going to cry. Oh yeah, I'm going to quit now because Jeremy said I'm no good at what I do. I know I'm crushing it. I'm doing a million things at once. So I don't even let it hit me. Like, that you could try to bring me down, but then I respond, and they're like, and I'm like, dude, I don't even have time for this. Like, I'm about to backflip into an ocean. Like, you're coming with this weird energy in my space. I just, like a fly swatter, I just get it out of there real quick. You feel me? Is there any fact check you recommend, Brett? That's a good point. There's not any I recommend. The two main ones, I actually have an old video on it. The two main ones are Snopes and PolitiFact. PolitiFact actually, you can like trace, I did a whole video of who pays them, who created them, and then what they do. Same with Snopes. Snopes is very biased in the sense of like, I'll give you an example. If you're talking about this, Snopes will frame one part of the situation, like say it's something that's kind of true or it's undiscovered. They'll frame something wrong about it and be like, look, this is false. But that's not really what the conversation is. So they're good at framing it and finding like one thing about it. Like with Hillary Clinton and like, what was it? Uranium One. Everyone was asking this stuff. And they were like, did she do this? A question no one asked. And they were like, no. So, no, these fact checkers are not great. I mean, they do some good work, but they're mostly like biased and partisan. So I would say just try to critically think, you know? That's all you could really do is question things. Don't be too egotistical. I think it's ego that really, like, people want to know everything, you know? As maybe confident as I am, I'm not egotistical. Like, I'm not afraid to not know. Like, even with coronavirus, you know? Some people, like, they're like, I went to Harvard for 8 years with a biometrics degree, so I am never wrong. I created the plane. I created peanut butter, not George Washington Carver. It's like, you know, these are the type of people that they have too big of an ego. It's good to be smart. It's good to be book smart. It's good to know science. But you have, you know, if your ego's too big, it's like, I read Fahrenheit 47 in high school and I know everything. It's like, then these people are the biggest liars. They're always trying to censor everybody because they can't comprehend being wrong. They just want to destroy everything around them that doesn't agree with them. Me, I just can care less. It's like, okay, I'll consider it. Any updates on the North Korea situation? They have claimed it's not there, but South Korea clearly has it spreading. I mean, who do you trust? Who do you believe? I think North Korea has been lied about in the media, so they have one of the world's largest water parks in North Korea. So I would say if you want to find out, I don't know if it's even legal to go, but, you know, like, people are like, oh my God, North Korea is so scary. I'm like, I want to go play basketball in North Korea with Dennis Rodman and then go to the water park and hopefully not get murdered and then come home. Like, I don't know if coronavirus is there or not. What does my hat represent? It's the Hawaiian, it's like the official Hawaiian flag of the natives, I believe the Hawaiian kingdom. Let me read. I'm an old mom. I told your son and I'm 55. I hope he grows up as kind as you. Thank you, Darlene. I appreciate it. Listen, I got some flaws too, but I appreciate it. I try to be as kind as possible. Sometimes I'm fun though. Someone said, son is studying biomedical engineering. No, I mean, medicine's real. Like, you do want to learn these things, but I have friends in medicine too. It's very brainwashy. Like, don't get me wrong. There's real medicine, there's real science, there's real stuff that they learn that I don't know. But there's also, like, they all get them, like, in this certain lane where, like, I knew doctors that were like, dude, I go outside of my field a little bit because they're, like, super, it's become super controlled. But it's also super educational. Someone said your rapping is cool, Nam. Don't let people bother you about that. No, I don't care. It's just, I mean, you know, Trump, conservative-leaning politics and rap goes together like, you know, a hot dog and salad. So I understand when I post a rap video now, unless it has some sort of theme, It's not it's like the total opposite market. But I think it's cool that I do both. Some people like it, a lot of people don't on here. I'm not getting discouraged. Like I said, I played 10 shows last year. I'm doing a lot of stuff. Like, I've had a lot of success in rap. I know that I'm competent, so I don't get bothered by it. When people say don't do it, I respond with like, go away. It's not, you could say you don't like it. You could say you don't like the lyrics. I don't care. But don't tell me to stop doing it. Like, just because like Ralph, 55 from Maryland, told me to stop doing it on a comment. No, my career, no, everything I've ever accomplished, like it's all gone. Like, that's the point I'm trying to get across. It's like laughable to me. I just think it's funny to respond and be like, no. Let me read. All prophets. Can I introduce you to my daughter? Kidding, sort of. I mean, you could try, I guess. I don't know. Someone tried to set me up with their niece or something like on Saturday, but I was out and I was getting text messages. I was like, I don't know. I don't know about all that, but you could try. All right, let's see what else we're talking about. Thank you, Susan. I love me some hot dogs on my salad, brother. That's like rap and Trump, supporting political or Trump leaning politics. It goes together like hot dog and salad. I'm not saying people that support Trump don't like my rap. A lot of them do. I have songs with hundreds of thousands of streams, millions of streams actually. So I'm not saying but a lot of people don't like hot dogs with their salad, but I'm glad you do. That's equivalent to the amount of people on my page that like when I rap. Can we go on a date? Like I said, you could shoot your shot. I think it was Michael Jordan that said, you got to shoot to score. Wayne Gretzky said, 100% of the shots you don't take, you miss or something. I don't know, something like that, but shoot your shot. But I would say do it on Instagram because I don't really read Facebook messages. I know people, I'm going to read that. Michael, thanks for being a top fan. And to those who are asking, I don't know how you get top fan. I know people with PhD. I know people with PhD are dumb as a rock. Some I know dropped out in 10th grade as smart as Einstein. Absolutely, Michael. There's a lot of indoctrination. There's a lot of ego. It's great to learn. Like, to be a lawyer, you need to understand law. To be a doctor, you need to understand medicine. There's certain degrees that you just should go to school probably. But yeah, it does not equate to intelligence. It definitely doesn't. And there's a lot of people who are overly filled with like book learning and they have no critical thinking and common sense. And if you have no critical thinking and common sense, you're probably a moron no matter how many degrees you have. And the reason I talk fast too, guys, there's a reason for everything I do. I don't talk this fast in my daily life, never, but I understand, like, marketing wise, you have to understand I'm doing a live stream in front of over 1,000 people, 2,000 people at one point, and it's like 40, 50 minutes. Who wants to watch a 40, 50-minute live stream? You know what I'm saying? You guys clearly do, but if I went super slow, it's like, I'm like, all right, people want to hear. I don't want it to stop getting entertaining. You get what I'm saying? We can relax now. It's towards the end, and I don't really care. I hope people don't leave, but I think of it like marketing-wise. Like, would I want there to be massive pauses? I don't have time. I'll go listen and watch this, watch that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to fill every gap. I'm just trying to have hit on hit on hit. So that's why I talk. I don't talk this fast normally, but I can, and I will. But I think of it as like, all right, I got 1,000 people watching me. Do they want to sit me? Like, if I just started drinking water for a minute, I'd probably lose 300 people. See, I lost 100 people just by doing that. That's how it works. Just doing it as an example. Marketing 101 is free. I'll give courses later. Jay said Bernie's been doing good. Yeah, Bernie's doing phenomenal. I'm working on a whole video. I actually have a whole PowerPoint. See, I think I'm lazy, but I actually work a lot. I have a whole 20-part PowerPoint of Bernie versus Trump. Why Trump would win, why Bernie would win. I got all the voter blocks, I really analyzed it properly. Because if you watch CNN, they don't analyze anything properly. They're like, everybody's racist except for people who love us. They're the best people in the world. Duh. And then they're like, why are our ratings going down? Because that's not true. That's not freaking. Who likes Trump? Why do they like Trump? Some people like Trump because of this. Some people like Trump because of this. Some people are 2-time Obama voters. Some people were Bernie. There's real reasons that people feel this way. So I'm going to have the best analysis of who the Trump voters are, who the Bernie voters are, and why each of them will win if they do end up winning, as opposed to you watch Fox News. No offense, there's some winners on there. Obviously, they're crushing in the ratings. Tucker Carlson's been killing it. Laura Ingraham has, her moments. Hannity does his thing. But, they'll be like, socialism sucks. Not Tucker. He actually does a really good job. But that's fine. I do agree with that. However, I'm going to break down who they are, not just say communist. Although I do think there is some communist vibes going on there. But you get what I'm saying? I'm going to be like, who are they? Why are they feeling this way? And I'm going to put that out. Bernie versus Trump, if it ends up being that. Bloomberg might steal the election. Low-key, if you want to be honest, I kind of want Bloomberg to steal the election. Not because I love him. But I think Bernie, last time he took $200 million, I'm fighting the establishment. And then he backed the establishment. So I think it would be hilarious as an outsider to see Bernie take hella money again and then just drop out and support Bloomberg. I think that would be the funniest thing. Because then Bernie supporters would be like, what? Bernie's supporting Bloomberg? And it's like, bro, Bernie's not who you think he is. So I would like to see that personally. I know Bernie people now are just like, they're like, Anomaly, don't say that. Bernie would never do that. He did do that in 2016. What are you talking about? He'll do it again. He doesn't care. King Bloomberg? Dude, I can't lie. I know that it's going to be unpopular, but left-wingers said, I didn't see last night's debate, but the first debate, everyone was saying Bloomberg did terrible. The left wing said he did terrible. The right wing said he did. I thought he did better than anyone else. That's not saying much. I think they're terrible. Bernie just says things on loop. He's just like, the 1%. He's like, he doesn't have any maneuvering. Trump will just be on this. Bernie has lines, repeated lines. Bloomberg talked about pollution in China and India. No one's ever talked about that. They always blame America. If you want to stop climate change, India and China are going to have to be a part of it. So he mentioned that. He called out Bernie. I thought he was kind of funny, but I know that's going to be unpopular. Everyone's like, what, is Bloomberg paying you? I wish. Not really, but he's not paying me. I just thought he did better than people thought. Of course, yeah, he has his sexual scandals, but he reminds me of a little troll. Trump is a big troll. You know what I'm saying? Trump's always just clowning. You're low energy Jeb. You're Mini Mike. You're sleepy, creepy Joe Biden. That's the Trump vibe. And then little Mike, Blake Bloomberg, he just seems like a little troll to me. He's like, what? The socialists with 3 houses. What are you doing? I don't know. I like me some Bloomberg. I know. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. I like me some Pete Buttigieg too. He's like, I'm a moderate. And I'm just like you. I mean, you might not be into the things I'm into in the bedroom, but I'll tell you, in America, I will stop the chaos. I don't really like him, but I think his ideas are probably the most moderate. But as far as authenticity, he's kind of a clown. All right, let's see where we're going. Someone said right now China is the #1 country in carbon emissions. That's how you know. Here's the thing. I don't want to get into this stuff. I know I'll get my channel deleted. No. But when it comes to diversity, so I'm giving you an example. I have no problem with diversity. I'm diverse. I'm of 4 mixed ethnicities. How could I be against it? I love diversity. I love Thai food. I love Asian food. I have black friends. I have Jewish friends. I have, white European friends. I have, female friends. I love organic diversity. That's what I'm into. But when liberals say diversity, what they really mean is less white people. So, they're like, let's pay this guy $100,000 to be the diversity manager. He's paid money to go into your organization and say, let's get rid of white people. Let's hire somebody that's black or Hispanic or a gay woman or something. So you get what I'm saying? And vice versa. There's a point I was going to that. What were we talking about before? Sorry. I gotta roll up. I totally forget where I was going with that. Oh, with climate change, they blame America because they hate Americans. So it's not like they're trying to stop climate change. Same with diversity. They say, oh, we got to stop it. If you really want to solve world pollution and climate change, you have to look at India and China. They never talk about India and China, only Bloomberg. So what do they really want to accomplish? Do they want to change the climate of the planet? No, they just hate America. Just like diversity people just don't like white people. It's not, I'm not crying victim or anything, but it's like, do you want the best work? Do you want diversity of thought? Do you want a, Hispanic guy who supports Trump? Do you want do you want someone at Google who is conservative? They don't want real diversity, not diversity of thought. They don't even really want diversity of ethnicity. They just want a virtue signal, and their hate for America and their hate for certain races supersedes their love for everyone. I love everyone, but just not in a fake way. They hate America. I know it because they never talk about China and India. It's like, and even Bloomberg, that's why I'm saying, listen, I'm not out here shilling for Bloomberg, but he's like, in order to stop climate change, we would have to shift our business relationships with India and China. That's the truth. That's the only, unless you're going to start a war with India or China, you would have to somehow use your business tactics. And to be honest, he is right. It's like, dude, none of them understand business or economics at all. They're all morons. Even Bernie Sanders. Like, the whole world operates off of, big business. The world is a globalization. China trade, India trade. Without it, we're screwed. I mean, I would like to bring it back home like Trump's doing, but these people don't get anything. Look, we're going to do the climate change. Bernie's new plan says he's going to create 20 million new jobs. Trump didn't even create that many, and Trump is killing it. You think Bernie can create 20 million new jobs? You have to be a moron. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then he never talks about China or India. They don't care about climate change. They don't care about the environment. They don't care about income inequality. They care about money, power, control, big government, and they hate America. And in many cases, they hate, white European people. How more clear could it get? If I want to solve a crisis and I'm like, let me only focus on one place and not the places that are doing the most, you don't want to solve it. I don't know what they're doing. They just want our money. They can't get that from India and China. First of all, the science of I don't even want to get into it. It's like, you look at the science and the data. What do they tell the truth at in the education industry? What do they tell the truth about in the political industry? They do polls and data and statistics all the time, and they're always wrong because they're not trying to look at it objectively. If the science is not in my favor, I'll be like, listen, I still consider it. Absolutely, we have a massive impact on the world. We're polluting the oceans. We're using a lot of plastic. We're putting little microplastics in the water. This is all real environmentalism. Feces from homeless people are killing, sea mammals. There's real science and evidence going on, but when it comes to the global shift of a planet, it's equivalent to like, Hawaii, the big island of Hawaii. You can do all the science you want. You can micro measure every bit of carbon in the air and every single human interaction. But if the volcano goes off one time, your house is destroyed, your lab is destroyed, the entire island's changed forever, roads are destroyed, the air is polluted, you know what I'm saying? There's more carbon in the air than there was before, and there's nothing you can do about it. So when it comes to glaciers and it comes to super volcanoes and it comes to hurricanes and storms, how much of it is human, how much of it is out of our control, it's all debatable. But they try to say it's not debatable, the science is settled, it has nothing to do with India and China, let's take your taxes, let's completely, destroy the entire economy, but I'm somehow going to create 20 million new jobs. Like, dude, these people, I mean, I don't understand how people don't see this stuff. Even if you agree with like Bernie's health plan. That's the thing. I like what Trump's doing, but I don't like everything he's doing. I think he's on the wrong side of H-1B visas, personally. I think he's doing some other stuff not properly, but that's fine. Like, the Bernie people, it's like, dude, you could want some of his stuff and realize that, like, the Green New Deal is not going to create 20 million new jobs. It's going to destroy the economy, and it's not going to change a degree of the planet, not even 0.0001 degree. It's going to have no effect. It's ridiculous, but it's okay. Brian said, I have the Heineken virus right now. It's not too bad. Heal up, Brian. I think the cure for that is kombucha and just buttered toast, actually. Very simple. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Will someone adopt me so I can move to America, said Joe. No, we can't do that. have any insight on why China hacked so many Americans' personal information? Yeah, the Equifax hack was by China, or so they're saying, and that's where they stole like over 100 million people's information, probably for blackmail, probably for leverage. Why do you have a nuclear bomb? If you don't want to use a nuclear bomb, because now I have a nuclear bomb. So if you mess with me, I have a nuke and I'll nuke you. So I think that type of fear mongering is the same. Now if America ever wants to confront China in a serious way, they're like, we have half of your country's social security information. They could destroy our whole society like instantaneously. What if they dropped everyone's social security number, everyone's everything, and just made everyone's information public on a website for people? It's probably for blackmail and leverage over America. Hopefully they never use it, but sneaky. China, can I say that? I was gonna say China's sneaky, but people will be like, oh my God, that's racist. I'm like, they stole half of our data. Like, it's not everyone's fault of that ethnicity, but the country of China or somebody involved with the government stole our data. Someone said for black hat marketing and scams. Yeah, it could be that, but I believe it was someone involved with Chinese intelligence. It's probably for blackmail. It's a shame we can't know more about the coronavirus. I'm reading the comments. You can't trust the media has proven to just not be trustworthy. And even this is why I even do this stuff, is because you can't trust anyone nowadays. The only person, in my opinion, that I've seen that I'm insanely impressed with is Tucker Carlson. He's the only one, when all of the right-wingers lie, when all the right-wingers do something fake in unison, Tucker's the only one who does the alternative truth. And then all the right-wingers look at Tucker and say, F you, Tucker, how dare you talk about Iran like that? It's like, no, he is telling the truth about it. Everyone else lied about it. But when everyone lies, so you get what I'm saying? I think a lot of right-wing people do better analysis, in my opinion, but when, there's certain things that just you can't get to the bottom of. So who do you trust on something like coronavirus? I don't know. Yeah, my information got stolen. Over half the country did. Someone said when they tell half-truths, it's not even half-truths, but they'll tell you the truth, socialism sucks. Blah, 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 and then they lie. So it's like full truth, massive lie. But then Shapiro does the massive lie. Prager does the massive lie. Turning Point does the massive lie. Hannity does the massive lie. They all do it. Even Trump sometimes. And then Tucker tells the truth. I tell the truth. One other person tells the truth. It's hard to penetrate that lie because it's so massively widespread. I don't know how many people know what they're saying, or they just don't realize it, but with stuff like free speech and things like war and regime change war, you want to have the facts out there. You want to understand the other perspective, because these type of things can backfire tremendously. Like, millions of people can die. Our entire economy can be destroyed. Trillions of dollars spent in a country where nothing's gotten better over the course of 20 years. Expansion into Syria. Millions of Christians and others, Muslims, displaced. Refugee crisis. Now Europe takes refugees. Canada takes refugees. America takes refugees. And people complain about it. But where did it root from? Who started it? Did we have to do that? Was what they said ever true? Whether it be Republicans under George Bush or liberals under Obama? A lot of it wasn't true until now. Thanks to Twitter and even with Trump. A lot of what happened in Syria was not only what Trump knew, but also the right wing, me, Paul Joseph Watson, Cernovich, Tucker Carlson, Trump's ears to the streets. So he realized that more than half of his base was against regime change in Syria. Dude, like social media, that's why they want to shut down social media, because we've been massively effective in changing the course of what they're allowed to and not to do. Whether it be about medicine, fake science, fake education, war, two-party system traps, Thank you, Malachi. I appreciate it. Thank you for being a sharer too. God bless. Mark said computers will kill everyone. Maybe not. Let's see. Someone said the only BS is coming from the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party's pushing the most BS, but they're not the only ones. That's the problem with the two-party trap. When the Democrats are lying so much, people say, well, it's this or this. So they're lying, so they're the only ones lying. That's not true. Everything in the world isn't under two umbrellas. That's the political lie. I agree with the right much more than the left, but the whole scope of the world isn't like the Democrats are lying, so all the Republicans are telling the truth. That's not true. A lot of Republicans aren't doing what they're telling you they're doing. They say they stand up for free speech, but then they sell it out. They say that they're against illegal immigration, but then they're greenlighting, refugees. This is happening now in the GOP. So they catch you with the two-party trap. They say, if they're doing this, we must be great. But there's very few people like myself. The one who does it the best on work visas and immigration is Michelle Malkin. Follow her on Twitter. I don't know if she has a Facebook, but she's on it. I would say Nick Fuentes was on it too before he got deleted off YouTube. But those are the only two people that I ever saw put a microscope on the GOP and be like, all right, because if you watch Shapiro or watch a lot of Fox News, all they do is make fun of the Democrats. Like, I get it. It's hilarious. Elizabeth Warren's a goofball. Joe Biden's losing his mind. Bernie Sanders is angry. Bloomberg's a little troll. It's funny. It's worth talking about and laughing at, but that doesn't necessarily mean who's putting the right wing under the microscope. The left wing's not doing it. Left wing media is just lying and making crap up. Right wing media is making fun of the left and occasionally doing their own thing. There's only a few people that are actually looking at what the right wing's doing, and when you look at it, sometimes it's like a rude awakening where you're like, dang, they're not actually doing as much as they're doing. But by default, because everyone else is so bad, I would say Trump is the most hardworking and accomplished president in our lifetime. Even if he does screw up or not do a few things, like he's a workhorse. He just keeps it moving. And when his support base figures it out, he figures it out. He needs help. He's surrounded by snakes, and anybody good he appoints around him, they throw in jail, they fire, they pressure. So that's one thing that I think criticism of him, not from myself particularly, but from others, that I think is true. If your loyal people keep getting popped, people aren't going to want to work with you. You know what I'm saying? Roger Stone, who helped launch his thing. What's his name? Michael Flynn. A lot of the loyalists in his crowd have been, treated terribly. So people are kind of scared probably to be a loyalist. So he's surrounded by a lot of neocons and phonies too. But, I don't blame him because he's like not into politics. So he had to just take a bunch of Republicans and stuff, anybody who he could find. Do you think we will ever get a third party like the Democrats and Republicans and restrictions on senator terms? Good question. I don't foresee it in the near future. The Green Party has the Green Party was picking up steam in 2016 and they just totally blew it. The Libertarian Party is awful. I'm libertarian minded, but whoever runs the Libertarian social media account is just god awful. I mean, their takes are ridiculous. They're like left wing takes. So, Libertarian is a good mindset, I think, in theory, but as far as their political party, they do not have it together. So, someone would have to create that. I think it's possible with social media. It's easier. It's much easier than it ever was, but, it would have to be done right. And right now, the Green Party and Libertarian Party, they don't have the foundation. They don't have a star. They don't have, Jill Stein and Gary Johnson are not it, unfortunately. Let's see. What are your thoughts on 5G and health risk? I don't care that much about it. I'm sure there's probably some negative effects to 5G, but I'm guessing that stressing out about it or stressing in life will probably damage your body more than 5G will. So I don't even want to stress about it because there's nothing I can do about it. So I don't, I'm 50-50 on it. It could be bad. It could be overhyped. I think it's probably fine. But if it isn't, what am I going to do? Cry about it all the time? I'm trying to keep them vibes out of here. What's the fighting about in India now? I'm not exactly sure the dynamic. It looks like some government, like the government and the people are clashing. I don't fully understand the dynamic of India. I know that the leader of India is a right-wing nationalist similar to Trump, Modi. He's very, very big. The India dynamic, there's like a lot of Hindu versus Muslim vibes. It's been around for hundreds of years. So I know, the Hindus and the Muslims, not all of them, but there's a huge ideology difference between Hinduism and Islam. So, that played a big part, I think, in Modi's rise. And as far as what's really going on, I don't know. I don't understand the dynamic of left-wing media. I mean, of Indian media. I don't understand who the protesters are, what they're doing, if it's, overhyped or it's underhyped. I don't even understand it. So I can't really weigh in on it, because that's the thing too. You understand how bad the media is in America. You understand how bad phony protests are. You get what I'm saying? So it's the same with other countries. Do you trust the Chinese doctor? Do you trust the Chinese scientist? Do you trust the Indian media? Do you trust that person? I got to figure out who these people are. It's like, in America, they only highlight protests that they can benefit off of. So they're like, look, Iran's protesting against the government. That's because they want to regime change Iran. When the Women's March goes on, the left wing says, look at the Women's March. That's because they want to regime change Donald Trump. You get what I'm saying? But when the Yellow Vest protest goes on and there's French workers in the street, all the farmers are on their tractors, thousands of them, there's no coverage in Western media. Why? Because they don't want to regime change France. France is our ally. They're our globalist, neocon, neoliberal ally. So they don't cover that. They cover the Iranian one because they want to, the neocons and the Zionists want to regime change Iran. So it's the same with, other situations. So I think that's in Syria. They talked about Syria and Aleppo. They used kids bleeding, crying, bombs for 5 years. Oh my God, Syria is filled with ISIS. Syria is filled with Al-Qaeda. Syria is filled with terrorists. Syria is free of terrorists now. They're celebrating. There's crosses everywhere. There's churches. The people are having a blast in Syria until Israel hits them with a bomb. Then they're really having a blast. But before that, when Israel's not striking them, Syria is celebrating for the most part. That's not on the news because that's not part of their agenda. They wanted to regime change Syria, bipartisan, not just left or right. They wanted to take over Syria and overturn Bashar al-Assad. Why? It's debatable. I think it's a multi-pronged thing. I think it's not about oil. People think it's mostly about oil. That's what I used to think. I think it's one, Israel is doing what Israel wants to do, and we're basically Israel's attack dog in the Middle East. Two, Saudi Arabia is I would say a far extreme right-wing or Islamic regime, and they want to be the dominant Islam in the Islamic world. So the Iranian Islam and the Saudi Arabian Islam, it's also a proxy war between us, America, Israel, Saudi Arabia versus Iran, Russia, Syria. So it's deeper than just even oil, and it's deeper than just even one country. So they don't talk about, they never cared about Syria. They wanted to take over Bashar al-Assad because he's allies with Russia and Iran. But now that the city's free of terrorists, that's what they said they were doing. They never told you what I just told you. They said, oh my God, we got to stop ISIS and Al-Qaeda. We need to go save the Syrian people. They don't give two craps about the Syrian people, just like they don't give two craps about the Venezuelan people, just like they don't give two craps about the Iranian people. They care about their agenda. And I'm not saying you might care about the Iranians. You might care about the Venezuelans, but I promise you when Donald Trump, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer come together to condemn Venezuela and hype up the opposition, puppet leader, they're not doing it for the reasons that you think they are. They're not trying to stop socialism and communism. Nancy Pelosi wants to stop socialism in Venezuela, but she can't even stop it in her own party. Regime change. Big war. All right. I need to wake up. I'm getting tired here. Someone said drain the swamp. For sure. Let's see. What are we talking about? I'll read it. Jeff said, thank you for your attention to this. No problem. All right. I'm gonna read a few more and then I'm going to roll out. Yeah, you guys get it. I'm reading the comments. You guys get it. But I don't even make, I say what I know, and then the rest is like, who knows what they're doing. Someone said, I'm going to read that. Michelle said, what I do, and it worked in the past when I had the flu, eat lots of garlic, onions, citrus fruits, and other herbs, fruits, and veggies. That strengthens the immune system. Very cool. Edwin Walker said, I found out information about Indian media. Do you want me to help you with that? Sure, you can message me on Instagram. I talked to I have some Indian guy who was at the Trump thing in India. He talked to me as well. I mean, he basically told me like, the dynamic between Hindus and Muslims in India and like the media and stuff. I just don't, as far as the protests and stuff, I could look into it. No offense, I just don't care that much. And I know that's messed up, but it's like, I got enough to worry about in America. I can't. India's got their own problems. I tried to weigh in on Australian stuff, and Australians were freaking out at me. I was like, listen, I promise you I don't care about what you're doing. I got enough to talk about. Someone say, sup, Anomaly? I met you from PA. I met you in Morgantown on High Street back in the day. What's up, Aaron? Thanks for being here, brother. All right. Nick said, I'll answer that question because this gets misconstrued a lot. He said, what's your overall opinion on Israel? It's a great question. It's a controversial question, and I do want to explain this because I have a lot of Jewish friends. Honestly, like half my friends are Jewish. So I was at a meeting with my brother who's Jewish, and not my literal brother, but my friend. And he was like, dude, people keep telling me you're anti-Semitic because you say this or that. You talk about Zionism. And he was like, I don't think you're anti-Semitic. I was like, of course I'm not anti-Semitic. I go to Hawaii. I stay for, 2 weeks with my Jewish friend. I go to Roseanne's house. She brings me to a synagogue. She created her own synagogue. I'm not even remotely anti-Semitic. And I've never even said anything anti-Israel. So people hear what I'm saying. I tell the truth about Zionism. I tell the truth about Israel, Saudi Arabia, and America. I tell the truth about AIPAC. I tell the truth about free speech. I tell the truth about the Constitution. I tell the truth about right-wingers like Prager and Shapiro selling it out. And then everyone accuses me falsely of being anti-Semitic and anti-Israel. What I am is just pro-reality and pro-truth. So my thoughts on Israel are, I think Israelis are great people. I have zero problem with Israel and Israelis, but I'm an American, so I've never been to Israel. I don't understand the full dynamic of the Israel-Palestine conflict, although I do know quite a bit just from researching. But I have no ill will towards Israel. But the thing is, Israel's our greatest ally. And the problem is, as far as what do our politicians value? Since I'm from America, I value America more than Israel. It's just how it is. And Israelis, I would think, if you live in Israel, you should probably value Israel more than America. That's how I feel. So there's no ill will there. But our Republican politicians and even Democrat politicians, the biggest lobbying group in foreign policy is not Ukraine, it's not Russia, it's not even really Saudi Arabia, although they have so much money, they do dominate us. It's Israel. AIPAC dominates the Democratic Party. AIPAC basically controls most of the Republican Party. Believe me when I tell you, Republicans are so far up Israel's behind, they've become, in my opinion, Israel first and America second. Does that mean I hate Israel? Does that mean I don't want Israel to exist? I've never once said that. I just want American politicians to focus on American. When Ben Shapiro, PragerU, Ted Cruz, Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump, and the whole bunch tell me they care about free speech, but then they pass and support anti-free speech legislation for Israel, what does that tell me? Israel has so much power and control over them, or they're Israel first, America second. So that's my thoughts on Israel. I have no real stance on the Israel-Palestine conflict. I think there's obviously, just like America, people have taken land. Historically, they think it's theirs. The Palestinians think it's theirs. It's an ugly, sloppy situation. I think Israel's not just protecting their land, like a lot of people say. I think they're trying to expand their land. I think they're trying to expand it into Syria. I think they're trying to take more of Palestine. Obviously, that's not going to be popular. But if Israel wants to try and do that, that's really on them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Israeli. I don't know if they deserve it, if it's theirs historically or biblically. That's for them to decide. But as an American, if we're basically their attack dog in the Middle East and it's getting us in wars, it's getting us to destabilize Syria, on behalf of Israel or Saudi Arabia or God knows what reason, then I start to care. So am I anti-Israel? No, I'm pro-America and America first. And I think most of the right wing are Zionist first. It doesn't mean I have a problem with Zionists. I have a lot of Zionist friends. Roseanne is that's the word Zionism basically means the movement to put Israel where they put it in the 1920s or 30s, whenever they did it. So you get what I'm saying? I'm not anti that. I'm just America first. And I find that none of the Zionists and none of the Republicans that claim to be America first, they're not America first. They're Zionist first, Israel first, and they do it at the expense of the American taxpayer, which I don't really care about because we already pay too much taxes. They do it at the expense of the American Constitution, which I do care about. And they do it at the expense of the American military, which I also care about. So that's my thoughts on Israel. I love Israelis. I would love to visit Israel in the right situation. I think it's debatable, and there's an argument to have about, whose land is what and the peace plan, and try to figure out something that makes both parties happy. But that's not for me to decide. I'm not Palestinian. I'm not Israeli. I stay in my lane. But they dominate American politics so much, it's becoming obvious. And the State Department has rules about it now. So if you go on if you search State Department anti-Semitism, they say it's illegal. And I just had this conversation with my Jewish friend yesterday because his friend was accusing me of being anti-Semitic. And I explained to him how I felt. And he was like, dude, that makes total sense. It says on the State Department website, it's anti-Semitic to suggest that Jewish people control banks and media. And it's not all Jewish people. It's not the deli owner. It's not my friends. They don't work in media. But if you look at statistics, it's like saying I don't see color or race in the NBA. I don't. Luka Doncic is a European and he's great. But you could say statistically, black Americans are doing phenomenal in the NBA statistically. So is it racist to say that? Of course not. It's factual. So when it comes to banking and media, who do you think owns the company who owns CNN, it's mostly Jewish people. They own, for 2% of the population, they own a big percentage of media, and they're a big percentage of banking. So is that hate speech to say? No. But that's the hate speech that the left and right wing both push. They're pushing for speech censorship on behalf of big Jewish power and, Israel. And in my opinion, it's actually raising anti-Semitism. So when you're allowed to honestly talk about this with no hate in your heart, it's not a big deal. You think my friends don't know this? I have liberal Jewish friends. I have conservative Jewish friends. I have Zionist Jewish friends. I have anti-Zionist Jewish friends who dislike Israel more than I do. You think they don't know this stuff? This is common knowledge. As far as statistics and who's doing what in certain areas and certain businesses. It's and there's a historical reason for why there's a lot of Jewish people in banking as well. And it's biblical, and it's also, in the Quran as far as what Christians and Islamic people believe as far as, loans, and what Jewish people believe. They don't have the same beliefs. So there's a reason for it even, historically and biblically. And it's debatable about what you think about it. You can have a conversation, but they don't want you to have a conversation. So that's the point I'm trying to get. When the right wing passes speech laws for Israel and big Jewish power, they claim they're fighting anti-Semitism, but they're actually making anti-Semitism worse. They're making more people turn against innocent Jewish people who have nothing to do with this stuff and don't even think about it or care about it, because most Jewish Americans are just Americans. They're just trying to live their life, run their business, work, have fun, watch basketball. They're normal people. But the Republican Party uses them similar to how the left wing uses black and Hispanics. They try to paint it as this monolith of a community that all feels this way, and then they do messed up things on behalf of them, and it backfires. So you get what I'm saying? That's my thoughts on Israel and this whole anti-Semitism, right-wing, left-wing thing that's going on. They have a lot of power. I have no problem, no ill will towards the people, the country, any of that. But it is becoming a problem on the left and the right, especially the right wing. Now the left, Bernie's more anti-Israel and AIPAC than any of them. They think Bernie's anti-Semitic now because he won't show up at AIPAC. That's how powerful AIPAC is. They complain when a U.S. politician doesn't go to their conference because they dominate and control every U.S. politician. They all want that lobbying power. So it's a simple conversation that's not even remotely hateful, but the more you censor speech on the left and the right for this conversation, the more hate people build, the more distrust people build, the more people feel this way and feel stronger about it. So that's my thoughts on it, and I'm glad you asked because this gets massively misconstrued based on what I say on Twitter and YouTube and Facebook, and people accuse me of hating an entire group of people, which is obviously not even remotely true and laughable if you knew me and who I hang out with. So it's annoying that nobody understands this, but the reason nobody understands it is because everyone on the right wing is so far in that agenda that they won't allow that conversation. If you do have that conversation, even as honestly as I have, blacklist, silent. Why do you think I'm not on the big podcasts? These people know who I am. And I'm not saying I need to be I'm so huge. They bring on people that are 1,000 times lower level than me to have conversations. They don't want to talk to me. They want only blue-haired liberals. They want black conservatives who just say the unemployment's down. Trust me, I have a lot of black conservative friends who are extremely intelligent, extremely outside the box. They get blacklisted just like I do because they don't want I'm not saying all the GOP, but like certain Republican groups, they don't want black free thinkers. They say they want black free thinkers, but what they want is black people who will follow their script and say unemployment's low, Trump is the best, just make a bunch of Trump videos. They don't want this like intellectual diverse discussion on the right wing either, and it's become a problem. So that's that's my thought about that stuff. All right, let's read some comments. Someone said politically correct equals just a lie. Yeah, and we can't become hypocrites. That's the thing. The left wing has spiraled so much into hypocrisy, it's eating them alive. Because when you say one thing and you do the opposite, you get what I'm saying? It eats you alive. So the left wing is destroying itself via hypocrisy. That doesn't mean we should be hypocrites like 20% of the time and we're better because they do it. Let's be hypocrites 0% of the time. We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to have fun. We're going to do weird stuff. But we don't have to lie. Like, it's becoming like we lie less than they lie, but we all lie together about this thing, and you're the threat for not lying about it. You get what I'm saying? Steve said, "I love black free thinkers." No, I'm sure you are. I'm just saying at the top of the Republican media pyramid, there's people I know who've been blacklisted from White House events, and they were one of the smartest people invited. They got blacklisted because they were criticizing Israel. That's how powerful you can't. If you don't have this, the Republican just cookie cutter responses about this stuff, you're blacklisted. That's how serious it is. So it's and it's not helpful. That's why I'm so outspoken about it. In my opinion, it raises hate. It puts a microscope on people. It throws them under the bus. And in my opinion, you're using other communities as a shield. And I don't think that's very nice. I don't think it's virtuous. I don't think it's helpful to anybody. So they think it is. I don't think so. Have I heard of Dr. Judy Wood? No, I haven't. Jake said, "I wasn't mad at your rap, homie." Dude, I don't even know. I don't even care. It's okay. Someone said, "Can we clone Ross Perot?" Ross was before my time. I know nothing about it. Someone said, "Want to get blacklisted really fast? Criticize the Pope?" I don't know how much power the Pope has in media circles anymore. Obviously, the Pope has crazy power in the world, but I think everybody criticizes the Catholic Church, It's almost like synonymous that they're like pedos and stuff, like in popular culture, I feel like. So I think you could probably, I don't know though, maybe not, you're right, but I think even both wings have become very, skeptical of the Catholic Church. And there's nothing anti-Catholic about it. It's like, oh my God, you hate all Catholics? It's like, no, I just think something's creepy going on, That's how people feel about other things. Remember Sinead O'Connor? Kind of. Someone said, "If you don't wear horse blinders, you can't run in the race." You got it, Michael. That's it at the big scales. In general, they can't really stop you if you just do enough. As far as like, I don't need to get invited anywhere. I'm already getting enough views. So it's like my success doesn't depend on them. But a lot of people in those circles, here's how they get you even on the right, but on the left as well. When you're dependent on somebody, when you get all your money and power from them, you're going to want to get that money and power. It's the same reason you go to work every day, Monday through Friday. Maybe you love your job, you're lucky, or you have a positive mindset and you absolutely love your job. But a lot of people, it's not what they would do if they had all the time in the world. But there's money there, so they go. That's kind of the dynamic of work. So a lot of people treat politics like that. You think that they really believe what they say, but they don't want to say what they really say because they get money or power. It's why people self-censor on the left and the right. Me, I don't have to really self-censor, because I don't get my money from anywhere. But from Facebook and YouTube, there's certain things that I might, if I was in a room to other people, say a little more freely. I don't self-censor as in like lie. A lot of people lie when they self-censor. I just try to say it more eloquently because I know they're looking for things. So I don't mind doing it because it's not like I'm going to say the opposite thing and lie or not say it at all. I'll figure out a way to say it. I'm just like careful with my words, and I think that's also a good skill in any part of life is to like think about what you say before you just say it. So I don't see it as a bad thing. Someone said this Pope is being a true Christian and they hate him for it. I don't know about that. I don't personally. I don't trust this Pope, but I mean, I'm not anti-Catholic. I don't know. Some shady situationals going there, but I'll leave it alone. Thanks, Colleen. Thank you, Donna. God bless. So, Brain Flash said, I just got home from a cruise 2 weeks ago and now I have pneumonia. I'm sorry to hear that. I've been good with my cruises, no sicknesses. Knock on wood. All right, we'll read a few more and then I'm going to roll out. Maybe like 4 more minutes, 3 more minutes. What's good? Only go on cruises that go east. I hear you. Ever tried Pope on the rope soap? No, I don't. A lot of Roman Catholics agree. Yeah, no, I know. There's people are onto it. All right, let's do like 1 or 2 more and then I'm out. Thank you, Tori. I appreciate you. I think you should be on Joe Rogan. It would be a good conversation. I would love to talk to Joe. I would absolutely love that. It would be a phenomenal conversation. I just can't invite myself. I met him once. I mean, we're in similar circles in some ways, so he's got to reach out. He's the superstar out of the two of us. I'm doing well, but I would love to have a conversation with him. But luckily for me, if it doesn't happen, it's not a big deal. We're getting the message out anyway. How's my leg doing? It's my foot. It's doing good. Trent said I'm late. So Trent, I'm about to end this in like 2-3 minutes. And when I end it, you could rewatch it from the start. I talked about it for like 20-30 minutes at the beginning. And the synopsis is basically like, in some ways they're over fear-mongering. In other ways it is very disruptive and there's some traps there. So that's I would say just rewatch. Someone said, Team Anomaly, you need to grow and expand. I'm here for you. Thank you. I would say I'm okay. Like, obviously I want to grow and expand and get stuff, but like people keep saying to me like, Anomaly, you should start a media company. I don't want employees. I don't want to work with people. I don't want to own a company. I don't want people fake me tooing me. I don't want people suing me and people hating me. I want to be left alone. So I have no desire to like to get more famous. I have a desire to make more money so I have money to save, so I know I'm not going to be 40 years old with no money in my savings account and, having to like work a job with no experience or something. So I'm not like I'm not like narcissistic. Like I need $1 billion. I want enough money to like not be poor for the rest of my life. So I do want to make more money. But as far as the fame, I have no desire. I'm already too famous. And I'm not saying that like bragging. I'm like everywhere I go, people recognize me. So I'm not like how known do you want to be? Like where you can't even go outside and stuff? I don't want to be at that level. I'm totally fine here. I'll take the money though. Not in like a fake way, sell out, but you got to understand if Facebook demonetized me or something, I would blow through everything that I've saved in, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months or something. This is not money to retire or anything. So I want to crush it so I can retire and just save money and invest and stuff like that. So just being honest. David said, just wondering how good was Roseanne's greens? Since it's the end of the live stream, we'll share. I don't really smoke marijuana anymore. I used to a lot when I was younger, but I don't really like to smoke anymore. I do kratom from time to time. I do like kratom. It's legal, and I find it to be like kind of like Adderall that's not like crack cocaine. Like Adderall's screwed up. I can't believe they give it to kids, but it's like productive and chill. But I smoked a lot at Roseanne's. She smokes a lot of weed, so I got very, very high. And I'm not gonna turn down Roseanne. She had like bongs and dabs and all sorts of gadgets. I was like, dude, I was lit. You can't turn that down though. Thank you, George. I appreciate it. All right, one more question and we'll roll out. Someone said my dream is to smoke with Roseanne. Yeah, it was fun. She's really funny. Like, she's a really authentic person, really funny. All right, one more question we'll roll out. I don't know what the heck that says. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. All right, maybe we'll just roll out now. What's up, Joni? All right, thank you guys for listening. If you're coming in now new, if you're like new here or whatever, or you just came in, I'm about to end this and post it live. So just rewatch it in like 30 seconds or a minute, and you can watch from the beginning. I talked about it, then we answered a bunch of questions. So thank you for watching, and I'm gonna just post this stuff. You guys don't have to, but I have the fan Facebook supporter thing. Actually, I guess I'm not posting it. I hit the wrong button, but I have like Patreon and stuff and Facebook support if you want to. If not, I also have my free email list, I think pinned to the top somewhere. Sign up for that if you haven't. I haven't sent an email all year because I hate getting emails. I get emails like every week, like 3 times a week. I'm like, stop emailing me. So I don't want to be that person. I like to collect the emails so I have them, and then if I need to send something out, it's fine. But sign up to my free email list if you don't do anything. Have a good week, and I'll be back with more videos. That was fun. Thank you.